What's going on, everyone? My name is Gabe Jones, and welcome back to your favorite podcast for everything Final Space, Into Final Space. After what feels like years of waiting, we finally got it. A trailer for the second season of Final Space premiering on Adult Swim on June 24th. That thing was slam full of juicy stuff that we are here to dissect for you today. So, joining me are two Final Space superfans hand-selected from the official Final Space Discord. So, let's welcome them to the show and get discussing what's in store for next season. All right, joining me on Skype today is JD and Leah. So how are you guys doing today?
I'm doing pretty great.
Awesome.
That
Awesome.
too.
Well, thank you guys for joining me today. So we're just going to take a minute to stroll through the trailer, the main trailer that Olin dropped for a minute before we get into the deep discussion. And you guys can give me certain points for your favorite spot or if something popped out, etc. And feel free to bring in some of the Adult Swim trailer that dropped. Awesome.
All right.
All right. So we've got a minute and 54 seconds of a bunch of awesome stuff. So to start out, it looks like we have Gary being pulled into a ship after the events of Chapter 10 of last season, with Quinn telling him that she's not coming back before setting off the antimatter bomb. Get a few flashback scenes there. We have Gary waking up on the new ship, and we have one of the probably coolest things from the trailer that everyone died. Everyone's super happy about. If you were in the Discord, everyone exploded when we found out that Heath has a robot body now. And then we get our reveal date of June 24th, which is super soon. We're all super excited about it.
Can I pitch in something?
Please
what
do.
I love is when it had the June 24th thing, it had colors like purple, yellow, and stuff, and that was from season 1. And then they changed it to red and blue, and so it would be interesting if each season had its own like color theme.
Yeah,
as well. So imagine like in season 3, if it ever comes out, he changes from like, red and blue to a new color. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I know Devo's talked a lot about bringing in color to the difference, and like all these different palettes that he's had a lot of time with playing with different color theory and stuff. So I wonder that's probably played into the trailer and stuff.
Do you think the colors mean something though? Like it's like do you think it could be like a subtle hint to something?
Could be.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. So after that, we get some narration from Bolo, who is back this season, and says that they need to free him. And so in this, we get some shots of the new ship, which has been revealed to be the Crimson Light. We get a reveal that little Kato is still alive and kicking. Nightfall is back, and then we have 2 new characters, one of which Olin has revealed is named Ash Graven.
She's like already the fan favorite.
Everyone fell in love with her
dying
immediately.
Yeah,
she's Avocado who? We only talk about Ash Graven now.
Careful, you might anger some fans there.
Yeah. All right, then we get a shot of what looks like a disintegrating Lord Commander.
Can I pitch in something?
Please comment
really
on
quick?
that. Yeah.
If you look, I don't know if anyone noticed this, but he's got like a pole coming out of his chest.
Yes,
and
I
there's
noticed that.
blood all over. So I don't think
exactly.
So people have been thinking that like Ash killed him or something and absorbed, but that was before like the character analysis trailer. But I think it was Nightfall, and the only reason why I say that is in the promo art she's holding the staff, and it sort of looks like what was sticking out of his body. So unless she came back and said die, I don't really know why they'd show up.
Yeah, and also
it's the grading part. The purple, I think it could be in that purple zone. Like they all kind of meet up at the purple
with the time
zone
fragments
for some
and stuff.
reason.
Yeah, we don't know. We will see.
Yeah.
And also, there's another thing. We saw him disintegrating, but I'm not sure if that means he's officially dead, because Olin said on his Twitter he has a small part to play this season. We don't know if this is before he disintegrates. And and also, if the show is getting a season 3, he said that the Lord Commander would have a bigger part to play in that. So
He's
it
gonna
makes you
come back
think.
as a Titan.
Oh God, I hope not.
It'd be cool if he did, because 1, he gets what he wants, and 2, it may not be exactly what he wants, but in some way he will come back bigger, and it might be like a pun.
Yeah, or maybe it might he might not be a Titan, but he could be maybe something else, but just as horrifying.
Yeah. An amalgamation.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So then we have some more shots of dead folks. Then we get a shot of what looks like older little Kato in space, surrounded by purple fragments, and that
I love that.
Sort of. I'm guessing all these episodes are together, and we'll talk about that in discussion a little bit. But there's a lot of those scenes from I think that episode that looks really cool. And so Olin has stated on his Twitter that little Kato has a huge part in this season, which would be another thing to look forward to. We got a couple of funny shots. Then what looks like the start of the race that was semi-shown in both this trailer as well as the teaser trailer that was released by Adult Swim.
All right, and if I could butt in there.
Yeah.
All right, so for the racing episode, we are pretty sure that it's going to be the first episode because recently on the TV Guide, synopses were released for the first 5 episodes. And episode 1 is the Tora Regatta, and regatta means race, so it's most likely going to be the first episode that we get that race. And also, let me just pull up the synopsis here of episode 1. It says that Gary is rescued from the wreckage of space, then must earn his freedom by winning the deadliest race in the galaxy. And as we've seen in the Adult Swim trailer, according to Clarence, it's a race to the death. So that's going to be something pretty exciting to look forward to.
Yeah, that would make sense as kind of the first episode to bring the team together because we see shots in the Adult Swim trailer of all of them together on the ship, and so that would make sense of putting everybody back together and.
So like Gary just wakes up and the new crew are just like, you're stuck with us, you're our hostage, so you can help us win this race and then we'll let you go. But then they don't, and they become the new crew.
Yep. Yeah. The ragtag crew.
The ragtag the ragtag team of the Crimson Light.
The Christmas Light.
Christmas Light, yes. It's the final space Christmas season.
All right, so then we get another shot of a Titan breaking through the rift amongst the purple field again that appears throughout the trailer. Some more action shots and another view of older little Kato. We get another character who some have commented looks like he's from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Olin has revealed that this is the character that is voiced by Alan Tudyk, if that's how you say his name.
I believe so.
Yeah, and it's most likely him saying the line, "You stole something from me when you lost the Earth." We see Clarence is back, which means Conan O'Brien will be revising his role from season 1. Some more really cool action shots, a really thick mooncake.
That word.
Eating our other new character.
Gun hand man.
Yep. Man with gun hand. Ash, once again, fan favorite, looking super cool with whatever power she's got.
She's here to be away from the cold stuff.
Yeah.
Get her away.
We got Kevin back.
Sadly.
I don't know if that's not a good thing. That's not even a question.
Gary just reacts in horror.
Yeah, and he pops up several times, or some version of evil him pops up several times throughout the trailer.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. I don't think we've gotten to the whole dream sequence discussion yet, but especially with that red furry guy that was mentioned, we're pretty sure that that he is linked to that somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially with the jean shorts, Gary, with the oddly muscular limbs, that is definitely some sort of dream
disturbing
sequence.
Muscular Gary.
It's literally the ultimate Lazarus trap, and it's funny because I remember talking with someone a long time ago and saying, what if there was a bigger version of the Lazarus trap and it wasn't just stairs, but like they made you stay and gave you all this good things until you died.
Yeah,
and it's cool that sort of works.
And that also coincides with another synopsis, episode 2, which is titled The Happy Place. The crew gets trapped in a happy ship where things aren't what they seem, and then Gary must confront the human cost of having lost the Earth. So definitely with his line, with Red Furry Guy's line, so you stole something from me when you lost the Earth, that might be that might coincide with each other. So he most likely has something to do with that.
Human cost, though.
Yeah,
Like,
so we don't know what that means.
Does he mean
it
humanity?
Maybe so, because we've seen that whole ship of, it looked like humans, this whole, like, asteroid field of corpses, basically, coming out of some ship.
They're feeding on people's life force, probably, and then once they're dead, they just discard their body.
Yeah. It's pretty scary.
Yeah, what if they use that to power the ship? So it just kind of, it's like a recycling plant.
That would be a little concerning.
Yeah.
And in the Adult Swim trailer, I'm unsure if this is like actually what it is, but in Dream Sequence Gary, that's his name now, we saw Gary with like a nosebleed, perhaps, when he did that death drop with the army of cookies, that little dance move that he did. It may have been a nosebleed, and that like brings into the discussion of like maybe this happy place is like actually harming him in some way. Yeah. Like, is this his actual body? Yeah. Is he deteriorating in some way? We don't know.
All right. Yeah. I mean, we had some really cool episodes coming up, and we can talk a little bit more about that. And so we get some more action shots with the line, "Unless the balance is restored, all will be lost" in the background. The walls holding them back are crumbling, and then we get the final ominous dialogue saying, "You cannot hold me, I am coming." Then we get a nice little funny bit after the Final Space logo. So that's pretty much the main trailer. And so let's get into a little bit of discussion. So what do we think the main plot line for the season is going to be? Just the cut and dry main objective.
All right. Olin has stated like a ton of times, like on his Twitter and Reddit, this season is going to be less rushed in terms of plot-wise compared to season 1. But this season is going to focus more on individual characters and like their development. So that's going to be very fun. Other than that, you go first.
Sorry, it's just you're right about that, and it's not as like go as season 1.
Yeah.
And it's more of a fetch quest. Like, it's a fetch quest for Bolo, really. He's like 73. So that, and it's not as, I don't think the consequences are as dire, but he does say it is a war. But it's as I said, it's not as a big deal as the breach coming to life and swallowing the whole universe.
Yeah. And other than that, I believe that this season's plot is focusing more on the mentioned universal balance, this war for their universe, as Bolo says, and how the Titans are a danger to all life, past, present, and future. So the Titans are definitely going to play a bigger role in this season, I feel like, because we've seen three different Titans in the trailer alone.
Oh, dude.
Especially with that one that's breaking out of that breach around these fragments of purple. And that, I'm always going to link it back to a synopsis. Hold on. And with that, hold on. It should be episode 4, The Other Side. And that one's synopsis is, a collision with space-time traps half of the Crimson Light in a perilous other dimension. And if you notice that scene with the Titan coming out of that rift, the Crimson Light is halfway through this purple chunk.
I saw that.
I think that purple dimension is like literally a dimension between dimensions, and it's sort of like the Black Mirror episode in episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
And what you said before about the past, present, and future thing, now that I think about it, because he did say that the pilot was canon, and that he was gonna either if he means in way like references and stuff, but I always like to think we will get a glimpse of it, just even if it's for a second or like just a character. I think somehow like the Titans are gonna affect all timelines, and that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be a great twist.
Yeah.
I believe personally that what you were saying with the universe, the dimensions in between dimensions. I mean, we already had inner space, so what's to say there's not more of them somewhere in between final space and the main dimension?
But it could be like the dimension could be like an outer layer of protection.
Yeah.
So like you have the breach, and then if in case the Titans got like set out, well then they have this extra dimension just in case. And I think maybe in season 1, when the rift was open, it also tore a hole in that dimension as well. So it's like 2 layers of dimensions being. And it would also explain the purple of it too.
Yeah. And I think that also, like, it goes into time travel because in the synopsis it said space-time, so that maybe is why little Kato was not so little anymore. He was old man Kato. And it's that purple. He was seen around that purple stuff.
He could have fallen in, like he could have fallen into one of the shards and then came out older. Or it could have, like, it actually could have been a mix-up. Like, older little Kato from another timeline could have fallen in during some stuff. But, it would be so cool to have, with the snake. That's right.
I'm so excited for that.
As soon as I saw it, I knew, like, with the concept art for that temple, I knew that it was a temple for the worm or whatever, because it looks like the worm from the pilot. But now that we see the snake, it's like an upgraded version. And so I think that scene in the Adult Swim and in the Olin trailer combined, when they get swallowed by this giant snake, and I don't know whether I don't know whether Ash was summoning it or trying to keep it at bay.
But I think definitely connected to it.
Yeah, but I think they get swallowed. I think they get swallowed twice. And I say that because they get swallowed at the temple, but then the snake follows them into space, and then obviously it's gonna, like, eat the whole ship, but it's gonna send them into that purple dimension, and that's how they get stuck. Because I really don't know any other way they could have done that, unless that cube thing that guy stole could have also Yeah,
that's very good points. I'm not sure if they're going to get eaten twice, because I know they will get eaten at some point, because, of course, in some parts of the trailer, we saw the gang in this interior with, like, fleshiness and, like, ribs, snake ribs in the background. So they're definitely going to get swallowed by this creature, I believe.
I think all the people in there are either sacrifices or they just live in there, but I'm pretty sure it's sacrifices because they've been there for a while. They have the
same outfit as Ash.
Yeah.
So it's definitely connected to the snake cult, and also Sorry,
it's just that I am actually caught between whether if they get swallowed, it's like the temple's in the snake, or if they get swallowed and they get to a different timeline, because it'd be weird that if they got swallowed, why is there like a big glowing vortex? Like, unless his actual stomach is a different dimension, that's a pretty interesting feature. But with Ash's, like, we all say it's her sister, but in the analysis, I think I have this idea that maybe after Ash ran away, and we don't know why, like, she could have been a reincarnation of some person, or maybe she was born with that power and thought they were special, but maybe after she ran away, they chose her sister instead, because she may have been the closest match to the snake, or to maybe she had the powers as well. But they said, because your sister ran, you're going to be the next sacrifice.
Yeah, but, maybe something like that.
That would be so sad.
And when in her character analysis, when she was come back to me, she's gone. That is her response. And it is heartbreaking just from that 2 seconds. And before Ash's character analysis was released, we thought that was like, oh my gosh, is this what Ash ends up to be? Was this Ash beforehand?
Yeah.
So now it's comforting to have to actually depict what she is. She is probably Ash's sister or relative that she cares about and really wants to save.
I actually thought that Ash, like, because she does look like she gets weak from her, like, she looks a little bit frazzled.
Yeah, she does, with the eye bags.
Before that analysis, I thought that she, like, kind of declined, because you notice that throughout some parts of the trailer, that grey dude is gone. And I don't know if he dies or not. But
I have a strong feeling that he most likely will. He strikes me as the type to die pretty early on.
Yeah, he seemed to freak out. Yeah. He seemed to freak out when little Kato, like, made him shoot things with his handgun.
Yeah, he was. Little Kato was on his arm, making him shoot whatever.
And so I kind of had this idea that after he had died, she obviously loses control of her powers a lot more because she's upset. Because this guy has been hanging out with her for some time, and if she's ran away from her home, it's probably the only family she's got.
Yeah, And her powers are definitely so obviously tied to her emotions, because in that black and white sequence in Ash's character analysis video, the cult members, which are most likely to do cult members for the snake creature, they were holding her back, and then she freaked out. Her eyes went black. She just absolutely blasted everyone away. Yeah. It's crazy. And they are definitely linked with the snake because of their face paint. If you notice, they have a triangle on their forehead, and the snake creature also has that triangle on the top of its head as well. So that is pretty much the snake cult, I'm convinced.
Snake cult. All right, yeah. And tying back to a little bit ago, what you were saying about not, kind of rushing the plot, but kind of developing more. I know talking to Devo and some of the others, they talked a lot about the season's really going to be the season one that they would have wanted. Of course, for many television shows, as well as Final Space, season one's a base to figure out how things are going to work out.
Yeah, it's like a foundation.
Yeah, and so Devo specifically was telling me about, they've really found their voice through the art and through the character development. And, so there's a lot of that in this season. So really
season 2 is gonna blow season 1 right out of the water.
Absolutely.
Season 1 was already amazing enough. It had flaws like any other show, but season 2 is really gonna kick it into high gear, and I'm so excited.
Season 1 was what Gary in the pilot wanted to go back to. It literally was just 10 episodes. That was just a redo. Like, that was a whole different reality of what pilot Gary had to go through, like, in some way. Like, in bits and pieces, but still, he went back because he wanted to, like, fix everything. And then you had so many, like, references and things that happened similarly to what could have happened in the pilot as well. So once that's, he failed, but in this timeline, Gary didn't go back. He's obviously continuing and trying to fix things without time travel. Sorry
to interrupt. And when Bolo was speaking to this new crew, he says, "Our journey leads to final space." And this, of course, catches Gary's attention.
Yeah.
After denying to assist Bolo, as Quinn went into final space to close the breach at the end of the season.
I've got a whole page.
For Quinn.
I've got a whole page on this. Sorry, I'm really excited.
Hell yeah, man.
Okay, because it all started because one of my friends, people were like, "Oh, Quinn's dead for good." But one of my friends really believes that she said she would be alive, but I kind of considered the theory, and I wrote, this is what I'll write down. I'm going to read it out because I'm really excited. Anyways, I just titled it, "Could Quinn be alive?" And I said, "This is for the idea of Quinn survived. This can be considered a hypothetical theory. Quinn may surely be dead, but Gary doesn't completely know that. In a countering argument, almost everyone would mention John used the same bomb and died, so obviously she died too. But I would counter by saying that they were in different places. In Chapter 8, John died setting off the bomb just outside the breach, still in our reality and directly in front of the bomb. Quinn in Chapter 10 was hurling into the rift, entering it, because the whole white space. And when the bomb set off, and when she was entering final space could be like a realm of anything. It doesn't have to have any laws whatsoever. So she could have actually survived that bomb, or she could have survived it, and people in the actual universe could have thought that too, because it would make sense for Gary to try and find her. She wasn't shown to be dead like John was. Gary did ask which way is Little Carter, which way is Mooncake, and which way is Quinn. Notice that in Chapter 10, John seemed to smile about it. Maybe he knows more, but he admires his son's determination and courage to not give up despite the circumstances. So what I'm getting to is maybe Quinn survives, maybe the rift turned her bad or something, or maybe she really is dead, but Gary doesn't completely know that, and that's his first mission, to find them. Maybe Olin will tease us with the idea Quinn could have survived, and as Gary tries to get her back, finds out she truly is dead. Our first hate towards him will not only be toying with our own feelings, but Gary's. I'm done.
That's good theory, yeah. All right, so second discussion point, how do we feel the Titans are going to play into this? I know we've talked about this a little bit, but like, there's many Titans in this trailer, and I mean we've seen a few in spots throughout season 1, but it looks like they're going to be really big in this season, especially with kind of the main point is to get Bolo out. So
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that?
All right, and so as I said before, we saw a total of 3 other Titans, so we can expect a lot more of those little guys. I say little jokingly, in the season. And for this season, they are proposing a huge threat to the universe. And a line from someone in the trailer, they said the walls holding them back are crumbling. So that might be final space deteriorating between our reality and theirs, and that's where the whole huge threat for this season might come from.
Sorry, Bolo could be increasingly getting weaker as he's trapped in there, because that's been like 10,000 years strong of being trapped in a box.
Yeah. So what would Bolo want? Like, what would he do? What would he be able to do as one Titan against seemingly every Titan else?
Yeah, there's some other theory about Bolo being evil, and I like that idea because it reminds me of the whole pink diamond theory. Like, everyone kind of thought, yeah, not really, but consider that he is evil. He wants to be set free so he can keep his brothers or whatever trapped in the void, and he can have full control of this universe. And they did say that, yeah, Nightfall got all this perspective of the story from Bolo, and so it could have easily been twisted, and the whole crew could just be lured into helping him. And I think that would be an interesting finale, because I have this idea that, yeah, the Titans will be shown, but it's more of a bit-by-bit progress until, like, the season finale or maybe even next season. There's a higher stake. But it would be interesting if they freed him and then he just turned around and said, well, you freed me, time to cause the, take control of the universe, and haha, thanks for helping me, you fools. Yeah. Or another good finale would be they break him out and all the other Titans break out at the same time, so they have this big fight. It would be awesome. Yeah. He just shatters the entire cube and then just starts beating the shit out of all these Titans.
Yeah, and arguing against that, actually, Bolo could maybe be evil, but if he was, why would he have closed that first breach in the first place? Because as Nightfall stated, he knows how horrible the rest of the Titans are, and he was the most sympathetic one. He did not want this universe to suffer their wrath, so he closed it, and because of that, he was imprisoned.
I'm considering just all points here, and I don't really mind how the show goes, but that is true, but that could have been his intention from the beginning. But maybe over time, he's had to, like, rethink it. You know what I mean? Like, over, like, 10,000 years of being in your head, you can probably end up convincing yourself of a lot of things. So maybe he started with good intentions, but then he ends it with some bad ones. So it's kind of like a slow descent into evil.
Yeah, maybe so. All good theories.
Good theories, yeah. So do we think overall the quote unquote bad parentheses not Bolo Titans are going to be the antagonist for this season? Because we had a clear straight antagonist for last season, of course, Lord Commander, but we haven't really seen a straight shot for this season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Titans are, of course, going to be a huge threat, but for this season, Olin has stated before, there's going to be female villains. And with that last few lines in the trailer, in Olin's trailer, "You cannot hold me, I am coming." Like, who is? Like, we don't... I personally think that we're not going to see this new female villain just yet, like, not right off the bat. She might come on later to the show, and she's going to be absolutely badass, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right, so what are your thoughts on the new characters in this team that we have put together for this season?
Oh yeah,
I love all of them.
Oh yeah, Clarence I did not expect Clarence of all people to be back.
Yeah, I'm really excited because Conan did a great job last season. In that little short
just in that one episode 2.
It was really funny, and I think he's like he's the poster that came out with him on there is
he's like feeling coins, so it suggested that he might be a greedy bastard this season.
Yeah. So who we got for this scene? We have Gary, Little Kato, Clarence, Gunman, Ash, Tribor's
I
back.
like to call the gunman Grey Thanos, only because that's super funny to me. Or Greynos, whatever you call him.
Yeah. We confirmed that Tribor's back. So he survived. And then Nightfall, I think is that everybody? Little Gato, did I say Little Gato?
I believe so.
Yeah, but that I think it's gonna be a really cool team.
I'm really excited for Miss Goodspeed.
Oh my gosh, me too.
Okay, this is something I noticed. She's got like bright blue eyes, and the only other character I've seen have that is Nightfall. So I don't know whether she's possessed or got some sort of device in her head or something.
I think it might just be an age thing, because with cataracts and stuff, with age, your eyes, like, oftentimes you often see it in dogs too. Like, their eyes get cloudier with age. So I think it might just be, one, her eye color, or two, cataracts, or maybe both. Space cataracts. Who knows?
Space cataracts.
Yeah. So many, like, ideas of why she left.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't... Like, people think, oh, yeah, she may have left after John died, but we don't see her, like, even before he died. So either she left, or she was away that day.
Yeah, and for... one of the synopses, going back to those, episode 5 is called The Notorious Mrs. Goodspeed. And the synopsis for that, Gary reconnects with the mother who abandoned him, and Mooncake misses Gary's attention. So that confirms that Mrs. Goodspeed has abandoned our boy.
Okay, but I have like 3 different theories that I've had for such a long time.
Oh, yeah.
She could have been raised in a cult like Ava. She could have been a space pirate or a criminal or whatever. She could have met John for any reason, but there's 3 reasons why I think she left. Either 1, she ran away, or she was forced away because someone was after her and, she was protecting the family. Or maybe, she abandoned them because she didn't know how to be a parent. But it'd be weird because if she was so scared on having this kid, like, why didn't she leave as soon as it was born? You know what I mean? Unless she really had to commit to raising a kid. I don't understand why. I mean, maybe, like I said, I like the idea that she could have ran away or been forced away for some reason, but the abandoned theory makes it more interesting because now she has to rebuild a relationship from scratch.
Yeah, and we saw in a quick little scene in Owen's trailer, Mama Goodspeed and her boy on this like hover bike, and they were together, and it just, and also in another synopsis on, not an episode synopsis, but recently on like another TV website, listed her as a villain.
Yeah,
and that is so concerning. What is she gonna do?
But I like angst, so I'm ready for whatever Olin has to throw. But either she's like a small villain, or she's like, plot twist, haha, I'm a villain all along. I've just been using you, my son.
That would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, it would destroy him.
At the same time, like, I love angst and heartbreak, but doing it to Gary, oh man, that might cross the line, man.
Well,
but, I mean, at the same time, I'm excited.
Lose dad, lose best friend.
Oh my god.
Well, lose dad twice, I guess, technically.
Yeah. He had to watch his dad die twice.
All right. Yeah.
I feel so bad for him. And also, I'm gonna butt in again. And especially with Gary's character analysis video. Olin said that he has dealt with loss his whole life, and it also had a little flashback of a black and white scene of kid Gary with Caterpillar Mooncake. And he appears to be in a suit, so it might be like at his dad's funeral or something.
That would
and
be
you could
so
just see.
sad if it was.
Yeah, it might be. And also,
if Miss Goodspeed wasn't there, like during the funeral, can you imagine like the people who attended and went, "Where's your mum?"
Exactly. Like, and that goes into like, how did Gary grow up beyond that? And we saw in Olin's trailer a silhouette of presumably a teenaged Gary watching what is assumingly his childhood home burn down. And I think by his stance that he is the one burning his house down, Full Metal Alchemist style.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty epic. Like, he's just so upset. He's like,
I know.
Well, everyone's dead. Just gonna let everything burn.
And, like, we don't know Mrs. Goodspeed's past. Was she a criminal before she met John?
Yeah.
Or at the same time? We don't know. Or maybe she passed that on to Gary. Yeah.
That's what I know, but it also interests me if she has some sort of bad past from the beginning, and maybe she fled to Earth as in disguise, and then she met John. However she met him, if John knew, do you think he knew why she left? Because if they had an ugly divorce, why would he if something had bad happened, why would he hang up? Like, why would he have a photo, like a family photo hung up with them?
That is definitely something I've noticed in episode 4. That little family photo was hung up. Yeah. So if she abandoned them at any point before that, it wouldn't really make too much sense to have a photo with the mom who abandoned you in the house.
I think it was somewhere between John's death and then Gary's arrest. I'm pretty to my belief that teenage shot of if it is him burning down the home, be somewhere in between there. Maybe his dad died and then his mom just suddenly leaves on him, and and we've analyzed a lot in the past. Gary's just total kind of
and he's a vagabond. Before a quick little line in episode 2 before they go out to Terracon Prime, Hugh injects this thing into him, which is most likely a vaccine, because let's face it, he's been alone on the ship with no other organism for like 5 years. So it's most likely a space vaccine so that he does get some alien sickness. But back to the point. Oh gosh, what was the point? I actually went off there. Hold on. Right, he actually says right before that, I have nowhere else to go. So it implied that he was in fact homeless and was like getting by just by stealing stuff, as we've seen in the first episode with Dr. Bluestein and Derek. He stole this little gem.
What would be a really interesting twist if you stole something from me was from like someone who worked with them, and I understand that people think it's the fluffy red dude, but if it was a completely different guy, it'd be funny if everything just looped back and it was because he stole that one diamond.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, what if this little rock might be this huge plot point? I think that would be hilarious if it was.
But the reason why I say, like, Miss Goodspeed could have left when he was younger is because he got really upset when John had to leave.
Yeah.
And, if he had a parent at home, maybe, he could be upset, but then he knows that he's not alone at home. But to, like, run outside and hide in your treehouse and freak out because your dad's leaving. And I don't know if he knows the stakes of the mission, but he's not happy that his dad's leaving. And his dad gives him a caterpillar, which is a form of company. Mm-hmm. So, maybe she left beforehand, and because he's leaving, Gary has no other like guardian of parental figure to look after him.
Yeah, I think you first.
Oh, okay. I think a lot of this is really what makes Gary and why he's such a likable protagonist is his instability and the dependence that he has, the reliance on these different characters,
and the emotional stunt that he's had because of all that he's lost in the past.
Yeah, and so he needs Avocado, he needs Quinn,
needs just any person to talk with, to bond with.
And so he goes through these years of isolation without parental figures, and
he's driven absolutely insane.
5 years on a ship by himself.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's a really, really interesting protagonist, and it's not really something that I've seen done on Big Brother.
Yeah, it's really enjoyable because I'm sure a lot of people can relate with that, because it's the loneliness that is really Gary's main struggle, because he's struggled with losing his parents, of course, and losing his friends, and just his whole life. As he has said before, my life sucks.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So my next question is, once again, something we talked about a little bit. How do we think that time travel is going to play into this season? It looks like something's going to be super complex within the season.
If we time travel, that would be awesome. And I'm still all over the pilot because I love that. Because he just said it was canon. There has to be something And it's also interesting too because he said that he wanted the original Final Space intro he wanted was like Gary going through a loophole or like a wormhole, sorry. And it makes me wonder, is that the wormhole he took in the pilot, or is that just some sort of like representation to say, oh, he's on an adventure? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I keep having this idea that Gary's going to have to suffer some sort of consequence for all that traveling. Because as Olin said, you don't know if this is his first loop or out of 1,000. He could have gone back so many times, but he's got to suffer some sort of thing from it. Because, like, when the universe get kind of pissed when you have to push the restart button a few more and then you just don't, so...
It definitely just has its connotations and mix-ups. And, like,
it'd be interesting if he realized that too, and this could be the first timeline where he doesn't go back, and he does like try to fix things in in a less cowardice way.
Yeah.
And like Olin said, after that one temporal worm in season 1, after that Olin said there's no more temporal worms. So with that time travel thing, I think it definitely has to do with the purple fragments that we've seen before, and that having to relate with the space-time travel and old little Kato. And going off of that, that's where it comes into play. In that same shot where we saw that Titan breaking out of a rift, it's very much that purple is present. And I think little Kato is definitely seeing him older. That's definitely linked to it, and I'm saying definitely too much, but that's okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So my last question for you guys. I think we talked about it a little bit, but so are we coming to the conclusion that we think this female villain is coming? That last little bit of ominous dialogue at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I love how all I wrote was, it's a demon, or it could be a Titan, or it could be someone possessed, or it could be Gary's mum possessed. We don't know who it is.
I would argue that I would hope not, that it's Gary's mom. Like, she ends up being possessed by this ultimate cosmic evil.
That would be so interesting,
It would be.
That'd be good. I like that idea, too.
I just hope, like, Gary's mom comes to terms with her boy, but we might not get that sweet ending because she's listed as a villain. Maybe she might see her way as like, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry for abandoning you,"
and
or
then
not.
She dies.
Oh God, man.
No, imagine
that'll be a Final Space thing to do.
Well, as I wrote about her, because this is funny. I have a whole page dedicated to what character's gonna die and why. Mm-hmm. I'm just interested, but I said, since John was season 1's parent advice, she could be season 2, and maybe she is different and detached and not a great parent. Maybe she did care and was forced away from her family. Nevertheless, she now has to face being with a son she regretfully knows maybe nothing to little about. No matter what backstory, she may learn to love and grow and teach her son some things. Her death may be sacrificial or an abrupt end. And it would be interesting if she died, and then because Ron Perlman's coming back, maybe...
Oh, yeah.
She does see him in limbo, and he's just like, yeah, hi, how's it going? Haven't seen you.
Yeah,
let's catch up. How's our son going? I haven't seen him since I brought him back to life.
A cup of coffee and some cookies, and we'll chat.
Yeah.
Oh, they all drink beer together.
Imported beer.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, do any of you have any comments, things you want to say about next season, thoughts? Any last word?
I feel all right. I'm gonna say a little bit more on this whole Gary dream sequence thing. We've seen in the trailer these demonic Kevins and this amalgamation of this evil Kevin attacking the Crimson Light crew. And I definitely think that it might be this dream sequence that was mentioned before. It may turn evil. It may turn into nightmare mode or something, because we've seen these, apparently they're called frost bears. We've seen one's head explode. We have no idea what these things are supposed to be. Maybe something from Gary's childhood. We don't know.
Sorry, those dudes, like those floating heads with the guns.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Tribal. Okay, it'd be funny if Tribal made that up. Like he was just staying because obviously the whole team's gonna get stuck in there or something. But it'd be funny if he stood there and thought, "Geez, guys with floating heads and with guns for mouths is pretty scary." And they just all come to life and start shooting at him.
That sounds like a Tribal thing.
It does. And I think one more thing that we didn't mention before, Season 2, Episode 3, and Episode 3 is called The Grand Surrender. And that synopsis is, the search for a dimensional key leads the Crimson Light to Ash's home planet, and then Hugh hosts a bachelor party for an unexpected visitor. So both of those kind of prop up a few questions. The first one, of course, we saw Gary and Ash in helmets. They were assumingly on this ship scrounging for parts or something, or looking for this Tesseract object that this dude had before he detonated bombs, blowing them away. So we don't know who this guy is or why the Crimson Light crew needs this object. So yeah, that's nothing but theories right now, man. That's all we can do.
Our minds are absorbed by Final Space. It's too late for us now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've been here for like over a year now. I've accepted my fate.
Yep.
Bruh, I've been the fandom for 2 years, and it is my life. I can't live or breathe without waking up and thinking, Final Space. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show today and talking with me.
Yeah, of course,
No
man.
problem.
It was super fun.
Yes, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I always love getting the chance to ramble about my obsession. So this was great. Super enjoyable.
Gotta agree 100%.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Gabe Jones, and welcome back to your favorite podcast for everything Final Space, Into Final Space. After what feels like years of waiting, we finally got it. A trailer for the second season of Final Space premiering on Adult Swim on June 24th. That thing was slam full of juicy stuff that we are here to dissect for you today. So, joining me are two Final Space superfans hand-selected from the official Final Space Discord.